Morning guys, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. I want to make a couple Yack session on Toffie getting worked by Chris Sotelo with High Desert Canine. I posted 2 or 3 videos last night of our session last night. And if you watch the dog and you watch Chris working the animal, he's showing him a certain amount of defense with an attitude. He's also separating. There was one video in there that he separated himself from the equipment. So he had the equipment out a distance and he did his thing, showed a lot of presence with an attitude, with a stick, that kind of thing. And then with a little bit of a longevity in it, and then he ran over and got the sleeve. Well, the sleeve is the dog's toy. That's what he wants, right? And so right away, what's going to happen with time is he's going to increase that longevity and how long he shows him that picture of defense. And it's subtle right now because the dog lacks confidence. He will come up in confidence as time goes along. And then he's going to flip it, and he's going to also have, because we do personal protection, we're not doing sport with this dog, he's going to also kind of do what he did with that one video, and he's going to throw that sleeve one way, and he's going to pick the dog back up in a different direction with his civil agitation. That's what they say, civil agitation, when you're showing the dog's skin, you're teasing the dog, maybe popping him lightly with a whip, bringing up his frustration and everything, but you're making him face a defensive posture. And then it depends on the dog, right? Toffie is a very large Shep Mallee, and he has a lot of drive. That dog just wants to go after toys like you wouldn't believe. And so that being the case, you got everything to work with to be able to keep that dog driving through with that whole presentation of prey. He wants his toy. And so then as time goes along, you'll slowly flip that switch. And they call that channeling drive. You're going from one drive, from a defensive posture into prey, back and forth, right? And the dog starts to learn to accept that picture of defense, all right? And then the idea over time, if you keep watching these videos and keep watching Chris work, you'll start to see that Chris is going to increase his longevity and how long he's showing him that picture of defense. He's also going to increase the pressure, okay? Because the dog's going to have to start to learn to defend himself, and then you're going to see the aggression come up, right? There's a lot of little tricks in between that too, but right now he's also having a problem with Toffie getting him to fix his bite, because Toffie's just so into just latching on and then not letting go. And if he's got a shallow bite, he'll sit there and pull you backwards. And it's just, I think it's the genetics of that German Shepherd and pulling, and that just natural, true genetics. If this dog was a puppy and was developed when he was a young puppy all the way up like you see me developing my dogs, that dog would have been a hell of a Schutzhund dog. God, he wouldn't, because he's really prone to get stuck into pattern. Anything you show him, and once you get it there in that pattern, he doesn't want to change, right? He doesn't want to change pattern and flip to something else. Example of that was that reward placement. I had been doing that 2-ball, teaching him to drop one ball and come up to the other, so I got a nice out, and it worked real well. He's got a really nice out. You let him grab that sleeve, and he's on the ground with it. You say out, and he spits it right away. He's got a really smart dog, very smart dog, but he's very instinctive. He is who he is. Toffie is set in his ways. So you've got to figure out the dog, what makes him tick, and his genetic stamps and previous experiences have a factor too. A lot of times I'll have a customer as an example, and I'll show them some of the little tricks that I do with my tugs and getting the dog to do certain things I want them to do, and they go off and they don't know what they're doing, and they'll create bad behavior. It's kind of, a lot of times I don't want my customers messing with tugs and things, because they'll actually do it wrong and they'll create other behaviors that I've got to fix, and it's a pain in the ass. So it's better to not sometimes have someone that's inexperienced. I show them too much and boom, they're off running off and doing it themselves, and they screw the dog up as far as his fundamental foundation. It's all about foundation, the way we teach these dogs to strike. We want a nice deep mouth. We want all these particulars that we want in the work, right? So Chris is doing a great job. What I'm going to do as the trainer, and this is how I work, because I go out all over the place, right? I'm going to let Chris work him for probably 6 sessions, maybe even 8. I want a nice, good relationship between the dog and him. And whether you realize it or not, there is a relationship between the dog and the decoy. The dog gets used to that person's style, and whether the person knows it or not, they have a consistency in how they work and their body language and how they present things. And the dog gets used to it and gets accustomed to it. That's what kind of builds some confidence. He says, oh, here's this guy again. This is our game, right? So you let that one decoy be that dog's start, right? And get going and get a pattern really well set that becomes confidence building and everything else, and get him through some of his foundational work. And then once the dog's to a certain level, confidence wise and everything, then I will take him out and take him to another decoy. And I'll make sure I try to show these other decoys how he's being worked by Chris and give them a good idea where we're at with him when we bring him to him, so they can kind of dovetail off of that same pattern a little bit, do some of the same kind of work to a certain extent. They're going to have their own style, their own body postures and all that, but the dog is really keenly aware of body posture and body language and all that stuff matters. So having the same decoy for a while, it matters, right? And Chris is a pretty good decoy, and he's going to he's doing the right thing already, and I have the trust in him to know that he's able to do exactly what I'm asking of him to do with Toffie and build up to a point. Now the other thing I'm really happy about is the handler. The handler, is the owner, is really doing a good job with him. He's listening to what I'm telling him. He's marking the behavior when he should. He's pretty much doing everything almost exactly how he should, and I'm real happy with that. He's got a lot of growth to go, a lot of learning, but Toffie's kind of like, he's cutting his teeth on Toffie. This is his first dog. He wants to go towards, he's an officer, he's going to go towards police canine. And so that being the case, as he pays his dues and tries to work his way in, and hopefully he does get his chance to be able to do that, he'll have a lot of experience under his belt by being able to work with Toffie. It's a very cool thing. So I'm real happy with this team, the owner and Toffie, and what I'm seeing right now in the work. And you can't do it without a decoy. I mean, and the decoy matters, but it's a matter of knowing who's got the skills. And I'm lucky enough now to have Chris living up here and setting up his facility. He's close enough to me that I can go and get some work done. So it's kind of cool. So we'll let you know. Keep an eye on these videos. Every now and then you'll see some Toffie videos, and watch how the dog's working now and compared to what you'll see the next time, or whatever you see, and then start to think about what I'm trying to teach you. Is that basically it's about, when they call channeling drives, they're basically flipping from defense to pray and play, and it's an emotional state of mind with a dog. Right? You're taking the dog's emotional mind state to one point to another, and then you're keeping him clear-headed in it. If you did it where it was all just civil agitation and you make the dog defend himself, you're going to end up with a dog that's going to be a liability, right? You want to keep stability, and to keep stability is keep that game in it and keep flipping back and forth until you slowly tighten down the screw and have him accept more defense and more of a posture of defense and more longevity. How long that game lasts, right? The fight side of things, right? The defensive side of things, until it flips to the play and the prey, which was what the dog wants, right? And as the dog gets more and more accustomed to this and starts to understand that pattern and understand it's coming, right? Just like anything else in our classical game, it's coming, right? Where I'm gonna get what I want, I just got to last this out. I've just got to go it's kind of like getting a kid in a boxing ring. Ding, ding, fights on. Ding, ding, fights off. He knows when he goes in there, and it's a real match, and he's been practicing and getting all his foundation and really getting his skills up, and now he's ready to take on another competitor. He knows when that bell goes off, he's got to last out in that round. He doesn't get to quit. He has to go all the way through it and last out and either be the winner or the loser, right? So it's all about the scores in the boxing ring. Same thing. It's very similar in that regards. Ding, ding, fights on. Ding, ding, fights off. We're going to get to that point, right? All right. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, signing off. Have a good day, guys.